During the 1960s, a wave of civil unrest and protest swept across the country. From the Defiant March in Selma to the destructive riots in Watts, this radical form of civic action ushered in a new era for the nation's blacks and minorities. In Philadelphia, the black community transformed city streets into corridors of protest against inadequate public schools, job discrimination, and city policy that allowed a public institution, Girard College, to deny admissions to black students. By the end of the decade, a growing movement aimed at community control and black political independence was taking shape. The concept obtained its structure from the agile mind of an outspoken, articulate young lawyer whose modest upbringing and commitment to community made him the ideal father of this new movement. The story of independent politics in Philadelphia is the Hardy Williams story. Williams would intertwine his life with this movement, and his name would become synonymous with its spirit and execution. Hardy Williams, the man and the movement. Although the independent movement began to bear fruit in 1968, the shaping of the man began in 1931 when Hardy Williams was born in the small, tightly knit community around 47th Street and Woodland Avenue. The five Williams brothers were raised by their mother, Frances. During his campaigns and crusades against violence and gang wars, the unwavering support of Mom Frances, coupled with her own dynamic community work and political instincts, were a major influence on her son, Hardy.
It's five brothers in my family. I'm the youngest. My brother Jimmy is the oldest, and next is Hardy. And then it's Freddie and Teddy. He involved every one of us in his elections and in just the whole political process.
Williams learned to work with friends and neighbors, and even then began to develop friendships that would later become a part of his grassroots movement. His love of organizing and ability to maintain strong bonds with smart, forward-thinking people would become a hallmark of his nearly 50-year career as a politician, community advocate, and agitator. After Hardy graduated from West Philadelphia High School, where he played basketball and was an honor student, in 1948 he attended Cheyney University. At Cheyney, Williams began to focus on the restrictive culture that prohibited people of color from achieving any semblance of equality. After leaving Cheyney, Williams went on to Penn State University on an academic scholarship and became the first African-American basketball player in the university's history. He later attended the University of Pennsylvania Law School, where he was elected to the Honor Society and earned his law degree. Armed with these impressive credentials, Williams was invited by Harvey Schmidt to join Philadelphia's first black law firm. But rather than pursuing a lucrative legal career, Williams had other goals in mind. The payoff he wanted was not a paycheck, but a clear strategy that would put community people in control of their own neighborhoods and empower them to address the social and political inequities that affected their lives. Out of this initial concept, the Black Political Forum was born.
There was a whole helplessness in being locked out politically. We didn't control the police force, we didn't control the politics, we didn't control the economics. And those are the things that control a society.
Fueled by Williams' contagious energy and fresh ideas, BPF set out to break the stranglehold of machine politics over the black electorate by running independent candidates against party-backed loyalists. Working from a storefront in West Philadelphia, the BPF held seminars for potential candidates and helped plan strategies for independent campaigns. Williams' first campaign was his run for city council in 1967. Although he lost the election, much was learned in that initial struggle for office. The Williams movement innovated numerous campaign tactics, including the now legendary Neighborhood Blitz. Purposeful, it was an effective way of getting the independent message out when there was no money for print, radio, or television advertising. After several hard-fought losses, the Williams movement hit political pay dirt when Hardy upset party loyalist Dorothy Brennan and became West Philadelphia's third ward leader in 1968. In 1970, Williams struck gold a second time by beating black incumbent Paul Lawson for state representative, a win brought on in large measure after Paul Vance and Wilson Goode organized a 6-day-per-week, door-to-door canvassing operation involving more than 400 volunteers, many of them high school students. After the win against Lawson, Williams jumped into a 4-way Democratic mayoral contest. He ran against endorsed candidate Frank Rizzo, the police commissioner with a history of combative practices towards blacks, and liberal white candidates William Green Jr. and David Cohen. Although he was not the first black candidate to run for mayor of Philadelphia, Williams was the first to run a serious campaign. Williams would finish third, but with 50,000 votes, the movement proved that a black candidate could run a citywide campaign.
Hardy received so many votes in West Philly, so many votes in the Northwest, so many votes in North Philly. Hey, wait a minute, we can do this.
In 1968, Williams ran successfully for the State House and served in that office until 1982. He was then elected to the State Senate, where he served until he retired in 1998. He never gave up his label as an independent and always supported candidates he thought would do the best job for his community, even if the candidate was a Republican. Williams is also credited with being a significant contributor in curbing gang violence.
It was Hardy, Benny Swans, Sarah Gibson, and a group of us that met, and out of it came Crisis Intervention Network, which was given credit for having solved the gang problem in Philadelphia.
What started as a modest process to elect committee persons and ward leaders independent of machine politics wound up becoming a catalyst that changed the political fabric of Philadelphia and was duplicated in many other cities across the country. But Williams' most important legacy is his family. He has 5 children: Clifford, Anthony, Lisa, Lana, and John Alston Kent Williams, who died at 1 year old. His oldest son, Anthony, followed in his father's footsteps, and in 1999 was elected to Hardy's former seat in the state Senate.
Hey, what can I say? He's an amazing person.